networking event. Do those two words fill you with dread, send you into to a panic, make you want to turn around and run the other way? Get out of here! If that's the case, you're not alone. When I talk to people all around the world, that's what they tell me. They say, Anne, I know I have to go to this networking event, but I really don't want to. I really don't want to. It's not going to be fun. And I especially hear that from people who are a little bit introverted. And so I've been collecting my best practices and testing them out with people. And I'm actually in the works to create a new course called Supercharge Your Networking. What are the 3 keys to supercharge your networking? I'm going to share with you these 3 keys right now, and so that you can get a preview of what this course will be like. So let me share with you what they are. And at first, I want you to think about an upcoming event. What are you going to do where you're going to want to supercharge your networking? And for me, a week from now, I'm going to the Healthcare Business Women's Association conference. Very excited to go there. And I have been using these tools to get me prepared for that conference. So let me talk to you about these keys. Key number 1 is, what conversation do I want to have? Key number 2 is, who in my wildest dreams would I like to meet? And key number 3 is, how do I want to represent my company? So you've got these 3 keys, and you could stop now, or you could watch a little bit longer and I'll give you more detail on these 3. So the first key, what conversation do I want to have? I want you to be thinking about that before you show up in the room. Right? This is something that you can prepare in advance. And in fact, what I do to prepare is I take a piece of paper and I cut it in half, right? And I think, okay, well, what questions do I want to have? What do I want to talk about? What's a challenge I'm facing right now? What what's this is an amazing opportunity. I could talk to people and get their opinions on something I'm trying to solve or some idea that I have. And it's like a whole sea of people who I have never talked to, who can give me an outsider opinion without me having to pay them for it. Right? So what is the conversation that you want to have? And here's how it's going to go. You're going to prepare, and I'll tell you more about that. And then when you actually show up there, people are going to ask you, oh, pleasure to meet you, Anne. How are you? I guarantee it. That's what they're going to ask. They're going to ask, how are you? And I want you to think about that question like it was a tennis game. When you're the one and you've just received their tennis ball over to your side of the court, right? They said, how are you? And they don't want to know, fine. I mean, you could do that, but you're wasting an opportunity. What they want to know is, what they're trying to do is connect with you, right? So this is your opportunity to drop a level deeper to connect with them. So they say, how are you? And I say, do you want to know how I'm doing personally or with my women's leadership hat? These are the 2 that I've prepared in advance. And when they say, oh, I want to know your women's leadership, how you're doing as a women's leader, I'll tell them, oh, I'm feeling hopeful. I'm part of the HBA's, that's the Healthcare Business Women's Association. I'm part of the HBA's ambassador program. And I've been seeing how powerful this program is for women and allies to advance their leadership. And in fact, as I've been in this program, I was really surprised because there's these individual objectives that they get to focus on, and many people were focused on personal branding and being able to figure out what it is that I stand for. And it was interesting to me because that's what I spend a lot of my day doing. I spend a lot of my day helping people discover what it is that they stand for and really step more into their skin and become someone who can make their dreams come alive. And then this is when I lob it back to them. Right. So I had all that prepared in advance. And I say, how I wrote it isn't exactly how I say it. I'll say it a little differently. But now I lob it back with a question. I hit the tennis ball back and I say, what's one dream that you have? Or I can ask, why do people call you into the room? What are you known for? What is your personal brand? Any of those questions, they're all the same question. I just phrase it a different way. I have that question to lob back to them. And I've also prepared it for my personal side. So I can lob the question back if they say, how are you? And I'm like, how am I doing personally or how am I doing with my women's leadership hat? If they say personal, I can lob it back the same way, same question. What are you dreaming about? What do you wish you had time to do? Same question, but my answer is slightly different. My answer is, this has been a year of a lot of reflection. And I have a daughter who was getting ready to go to college and then launched for college. And in the application process, she had to do a lot of self reflection. And it made me start reflecting on what it was that I really wanted to be doing. And I realized that I wanted to get my voice in the world in a different way, that I wanted to be able to impact more women than I am. In fact, I have a mission to change the world one woman at a time. And so I worked this spring on a series of 7 articles that explored equity and dove into the nuances for women. And I just launched a YouTube channel that also is delivering wisdom that I've gathered over years on how to step more into yourself, how to create freedom from the frames that don't work for us. And so I am actively, one little step at a time, moving towards my dreams. And then I lob the question back to them. What's a way that you would like to move towards your dreams? What do you wish you could be doing? Right? And that's what I want you to think about. So when you think, what's the conversation I want to have? You prepare a little bit in advance and you use that question of how are you? And you think of it as a tennis match in order to have it come to you and then go back. So key number 2, who in your wildest dreams would you get to meet at this event? I think that this is an important question to have. And when I talk to people, the image that they share with me is this image of walking into a room where everyone's back is to you and it's just a sea of the back of people's heads. And it's petrifying. and what happens is that people come in and they're thinking, well, what impression am I going to make on these people who are all with their backs turned to me? And so the first thing I want you to do with this the who in my wildest dreams, is I want you to flip that on your head and think, what if those people are like friends of mine with their arms wide open, ready and to welcome me to have a conversation with them? What if they were like, Anne, we've been waiting for you because you're bringing a conversation, you're taking the conversation to the next level, you're making it more fun and you're making it more human. So imagine that you could actually have people there who are going to help you out. So instead of thinking, what impression am I going to make on these people? You're thinking, who here can help me? Can help me solve my problem? Can help me clear my obstacle? Who can connect me to somebody who will help me clear my, with my goal or help me clear my obstacles? Who can I meet here who will help me have more fun at this event? Because you can't discount the fun. If you start having more fun, you're definitely going to create connections that stick and people who want to get in touch with you again. So I use that question when I'm thinking about who in my wildest dreams do I want to meet. I think about those questions. The who can help me. in what way am I seeking help? What is it that would make this event wildly successful on the people front? Um, and one thing that people often forget to do is to include the speakers in there, who in my wildest dreams, there might be someone on the speaker list that would be amazing for you to meet, who you would be so happy to meet, to get them to sign your book, or to get a selfie with them, or to ask them a question that you've been waiting for. Again, look at the speaker list in advance. See, is there somebody who you'd want to meet? If it's virtual, you can try connecting with them right afterward on LinkedIn and telling them. If it's in person, you can try to get up there, or you can even ask the event organizers, hey, is there a way that I could meet this person? I'm a super fan of theirs and I would love to meet with them. Remember, you're their audience. So even though it seems intimidating, it seems like they are someone um, who is like kind of going to office hours at university, right? Like they're the expert, they're the intimidating. Know that they're there for you, right? So, is there a speaker who you'd like to meet in your wildest dreams? And then the third one is, who can I represent in my company? How do I want to represent my company, really, right? And so with that one, um, it's to answer the question of like, what's your company like, or what can you tell me about your company? You want to be prepared to answer that. And a lot of people, this is the only question that they ask. And sometimes people flip it and make this key number one. But I like it as key number three because I want you to get what you want out of this conference. And I want you to be able to represent your company. So if you start with what conversation and who in my wildest dreams do I want to meet, and then you get to your company, then you're more likely to get something personally from it that will help you and your leadership journey, which is why I put them in this order. So now for key number three, um, there's three elements underneath this, right? There's what's the brand of your company? What do you want to talk about that? There's what offerings, is there something new that they've offered or something that's coming up? And what are your goals or objectives? What is it that you'd want to get out of this conference? Are you trying to create leads? Are you trying to get a business partner? Are you trying to get a new customer? Are you trying to create connections in this industry? Are you trying to find out what people do to get on board service? There's so many different objectives that you might be having, or that your company might have, and the more clear you can get on the objective that you have, the more that you'll be able to relax into being in this space. And the more that you can relax, the more and connect, the more everyone will respond better to you. So for me personally, coming into the HBA conference, I really want to talk about my new YouTube channel. And I would love to drive more people to be subscribers to this YouTube channel, because next year I'm going to launch a new 28-day Step Into Yourself challenge. And it would be so much fun to have an audience to do that with, right? So as soon as whenever I have a chance, I'm going to be talking about that. One of my objectives is to drive people to subscribe to my YouTube channel, and to like it, and to hit the notifications button, so that when I launch the Step Into Yourself challenge, which will be 28 days, 1 week on your body, 1 week on your mind, 1 week on the heart, 1 week on the spirit, and it'll be a longer video, and then 60-second shorts, which will help you be able to do this in the time frame that you have available. So that's one of my objectives with this upcoming conference, and I'm planning to have used the prep that I've already done in order to get people interested in hearing more from me. So there you go. These are the 3 keys. Remember, it was, what is the conversation that I want to have? Who in my wildest dreams would I get to meet at this conference? And last one, how do I want to represent my company? You put those 3 together, you do a little prep in advance, and I promise you, you're going to have a much more fun time. You're going to make deeper connections, and you're going to move yourself towards your goal, whatever goal that you have for um, your career, your dreams. So thank you so much for committing this time to spend with me. I know this is longer than many of my videos. It's not as long as the course I'll be creating. Um, so if this was interesting to you, stay tuned for when I announce that course coming up. And one last tip for any of you who are going to a conference live, you'll want to make sure that you get your LinkedIn app on your phone. And what you can do when you're sharing, when you're talking with people, is you can be the one who looks like you know what's happening. And you can, you just hit the search bar at the top, and the next screen that you'll see right there at the top in the search bar, you'll see a little thing that looks like a QR code. And when that happens, then you hit that, and it will show the QR code that people can use to connect with you. That's super simple. And then when you do connect with them, I recommend sending a message right away. You send a message right away and you say something specific that you talked about. And that way, if you talk to them 2 months from now, or 2 weeks from now, or 6 months from now, they reach out to you again, you can go back and see your chat history in LinkedIn and see how you met them. All right. So thank you so much. I hope you put a thumbs up on this and subscribe, and I will talk to you soon. Thanks.